am the change management lead for the city on the UKG dimension/time clock change. My counterpart is Sandy. Sandy will be doing this presentation and walking you through the new time clocks here shortly. So, Sandy, passing it on to you. Sandy, I may have muted you because I muted all, so please unmute yourself.
What's new? Thank you for that. All right. Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining our call today. Again, my name is Sandy Ingrando. I am the change management lead working with BB and the City of Houston project team. I am from UKG, and for those who don't know, UKG is formerly known as Kronos. We recently merged with the Ultimate Software Company and now are called Ultimate Kronos Group, or UKG. So today we will spend the next hour reviewing what you need to know about the City of Houston's new time clocks, known as the InTouch DX. So what we'll go over in the next hour, we'll spend some time just going over some housekeeping. I'll give you a project overview. We'll talk about what to expect and what's actually changing. I'll show you the InTouch DX clock features and then review the process for recording time as well as requesting time off. And then we will open up the session for Q&A. So a few housekeeping items. So during the training session, we will use the Teams chat for you to ask questions. We will address them as they come up, and we will also open up the lines for you to ask your questions verbally after the presentation. So that Q&A time will follow the presentation. So please remain muted unless you are speaking during the Q&A session. As we are recording and would like a clean recording to be able to share with those that were not able to make it today. When you do speak during the Q&A session, please identify yourself by name, just in case we need to follow up with you after the call. All right, let's get started. So a little bit about the project. The City of Houston is in the process of updating its time and attendance technologies. And that first phase of this project is to replace the existing time clocks with that next generation time clock so that the software is supportable and can be used with future systems. Now, the outdated time clocks across the city will be removed. However, there are some that will be replaced with this new UKG InTouch DX clock. So you may be asking, when is this taking place? The time clocks across the city will be removed and replaced starting next week all the way through the end of December 2023. So what ways can you record your time? You can continue to complete your time and attendance tasks through the Kronos Workforce Central Access on your city-issued computer, or you can also complete them at a clock. Where do you go for additional support? There are a number of resources that are available on the ARA webpage. You can also email your questions to payroll@houstontx.gov or call 832-393-8900. So quick update on where we are with the project. All of the clocks that will be replaced have been received. So the new clocks are in, and we will begin phasing in the new clocks, like I said, over the next few weeks. The clock replacement and removal training sessions were held earlier this week. Posters are being distributed near the location of the clock, so you will have that support right there, right at the clock. We have sent out communications to the director level earlier this week as well, so they're aware of what's happening when. We are, similar to today, providing online training to managers. And there will be additional support for you to tap into when you need it, such as job aids, instructional video. We'll have a recording of this training, and those will all be on the ARA payroll website. So what can you expect with this new clock? What's actually changing? In reality, it's really the look and feel of the clock and how you navigate it. There is much more that's actually staying the same. And the first one is that the clock location is staying the same. So unless your clock is being permanently removed, the new clock will be in the same location as the current clock. The clock functions, so the functions that you see on the clock, as well as the City of Houston policies and processes, those will all remain the same. So the process that you use to record your time or request time off will be exactly the same as it is now. For those of you that you will continue to use your current badge to clock in.
Sandy, did we lose you?
Okay, not sure why I got muted. Can you hear me now?
Yes, we heard that you use your current badge to clock in.
Okay, odd. So you will also be able to continue to use the Kronos Workforce Central that's on your city issued computer to complete any of the time and attendance tasks. So you'll always have that as a way to complete those tasks. Let's take a look at the clock features.
Does it differentiate, ma'am, if I can ask a question? That did you tap it in or did you do it using the software?
I'm sorry, say that again.
Does it distinguish that you actually went to the machine vis-a-vis you did it on the computer?
Everything that, so it's data agnostic. So what you do on the computer will show up on the clock and vice versa. So if you complete a task on the clock, it will show up on the computer as well.
Okay.
All right, so the City of Houston employees will now use this InTouch DX time clock to record time, approve their time card, submit time off, as well as other functions. A few features to note on the clock. At the top of the clock, you'll see a confirmation LED, and this will flash green when you've successfully badged in. It will flash red if there was a failed badge in. On the left, you'll see some vertical dots, and that is a scroll indicator. And when those dots appear on the screen, it's basically telling you that there's additional information for you to view, and you would need to swipe up to scroll to view that information. On the bottom left is a small icon, and it's a number pad icon, and that's what you would tap to be able to enter in your badge ID number. On the right-hand side of the clock is the barcode or magnetic stripe reader, and that is where you would swipe your badge to log on. You'll also see these icons on your phone, I'm sorry, on the clock, and they are called soft keys. And these soft keys can be tapped to perform the tasks or the actions that are available to you. So as you can see, you'll have request time off, view your time card, view schedules, record a punch, review punches, approve time card. The next screen would show work transfer, read messages, manager logon, work through meal, view time card totals, and accrual balances. Let's take a look at how to record a punch. So to record, you would record a punch at the start of your shift, at the start of your meal break, at the end of your meal break, and at the end of your shift. So the first thing you would do is swipe your badge. If you're using your badge ID number, you would select record a punch and then select the number pad icon on the left and use the keypad to enter your ID number to log on. Your punch will display as accepted or rejected. This green message, this accepted message, will disappear from the screen and will allow the next employee to do the same. Upon an accepted punch, you'll be automatically logged out. And if the punch is rejected, you will see an error message. A few examples of error messages are error number 1 is an error reading badge, and that simply means that you have not adequately swiped your badge, so you just need to try the steps again. Error number 4 is a rejected message or error, and that means that you've already successfully swiped in, or if you're attempting to enter another punch, not enough time has elapsed since you've entered your last punch, so you'd have to wait and try again. And then error number 6 is called unknown home employee. And if you get this error, you'd want to see your supervisor for next steps. Okay, attesting your time. At the end of every pay period, it is best practice to approve your time card. You'll want to select Approve Time Card. Swipe your badge or use the keypad to log on. Select the pay period, and then respond to the prompt to attest for your time. Let's take a look at the process to request time off. You would select Request GTOR, Time Off Request, from the home screen. You'll swipe your badge or enter your badge ID number. To enter time off, you would select 0. 0 is the default and click Submit. But the other action that you can select is number 1, and that would cancel an existing time off request. You would select the Submit twice, and if prompted, select a time off subtype. Then you would continue on and complete the following fields: the start date, the end date, pay code, and duration. You can also add comments, although that is an optional field. You would select Submit, and you will have completed your request to enter time off. At that point, a confirmation message would appear, followed by a summary page that indicates how many hours of time remain. You'll be notified with a message relating to the request, and that message can be viewed in the time clock. So a quick note to you all. As managers, you are our change champions for this part of this project, and we need your help to get the word out to your staff and peers and supervisors to help share and reshare the collateral that we've created for you and have provided on the ARA payroll webpage, and guide people to the time clock resources. We will need your help to ensure that your your staff, your employees understand that the clock has changed and some of the changes around the clock. Okay, that is all I have for you today. We'd like to open up the lines for questions. You can either put them in chat or take yourself off mute and raise your hand.
Sandy, before we get into questions, first thing, please remember that ARA website that Sandy's showing on the thank you slide is where you would go for additional information. On that page, you will see a banner that says new clocks are coming. If you click on that, you will get some information on the new clocks. Job aids related to the step-by-step that Sandy shared with you today will be on that site. In addition, that is where we will post a recording of this session. We will also post this PowerPoint on that same page, and you would see contact information if you have additional questions. Your questions will go to payroll at HoustonTexas.gov, HoustonTX.gov. And there is also a phone number listed on there for you. Also, I wanted to provide responses to some of the key questions that we asked yesterday. So if you have those same questions, we can address them right away. One of them is, does the employee need to punch in and out for lunch? The answer is that it is best practice for all employees to punch in and out for lunch breaks. If they forget to punch in and out, the meal break will be automatically deducted for employees. So if you're curious about that, that's the answer. Do we need to submit a separate request per individual week? Yes, that is the city's policy. It only allows for you to request 1 week at a time. There were questions yesterday about HAS and their badge not having a barcode. How do they clock in? For badges that do not have barcodes, you would enter your employee ID number in the time clock. So if you have a barcode on your badge, you can swipe in. You can also use your employee ID if you choose to. But if you do not have a barcode, you would use your employee ID in the time clock. Can I clock in using a mobile app? I am going to allow Dwayne to talk a little bit more about this, but the answer yesterday is if authorized, you can use the mobile app. This is something that has been given to certain employees and not everyone, so not everyone can use the mobile app. So I'll circle back to this one in a little bit. There is, what is the work through meal button on the clock referred to? It refers to the meal deduction option. And there was a question about fingerprinting and if it's still activated. And the answer is that the biometrics clock is not turned on yet for use. Okay, so with that, I want to make sure you know that there are no process changes for this clock change that we're doing. All we're doing is swapping out the clocks for new and upgraded clocks that provide a little more benefits to us. But what you normally do in terms of your process and who approves and who doesn't approve and how that works, all those things remain the same. So please focus your questions today only on the clock because processes will not change. With that, I see Edward, you have a question, so please go ahead.
Yeah, over here at 9455 West Montgomery for HPD, we don't have time clocks over here, but I'm wondering, can we get a clock in here? And the only, because there's no access to these guys, and they're all having to do it by computer. So,
Dwayne?
Quadruple tasks. So first of all, clocking in from your computer is the first mode of recording a punch, not a clock, right? AP 2-4 states that if you are assigned a city device, a city computer or laptop, that is the first mode of where you're supposed to clock in and clock out. If you're not assigned a computer or laptop, then you are to use the Kronos clock. Right. So by you guys are being at the admin building and everybody's assigned a computer, then that's where they will clock in and clock out. There's no need for a clock at that location.
okay, this sounds good.
Thank you.
Okay. I am looking at the chat to see if there are any questions. Are employees required to attest their time cards at the end of the pay period? Most employees do not know their pay period cycles, it says, Dwayne.
They know when they get paid. So the other Friday is a pay period ending cycle. So so one Friday is the ending, and the next Friday you get paid. But nevertheless, attesting to your time card is an additional set of eyes from your employees stating that their time card is accurate and correct. And so that way we can reduce the number of historical corrections when your employees are not looking at their time card. So if you have an employees looking at their time card and approve their time card and attest that everything is correct, and when they come back and say next pay, when they get their check and say, hey, what's my overtime? You have a upper hand saying, hey, you attest your time card was correct. I reviewed it as the manager. I looked at it, looked correct as well. So I approved it and it got processed as is. So now I will ask payroll to do the historical corrections, but you did a test, right? So we reduced the number of historical corrections. It's optional at some departments, and there are some departments that approving your time card is mandatory, like the health department and housing department, right? It's mandatory that they approve their time card for grant purposes, but it's optional. But I say it's a good benefit for making sure that the time card is correct from the employee as well as the manager before it's a process for pay.
Thank you, Dwayne. Ashley?
Yes, ma'am. I'm over here at Hobby Airport in the aviation division. I know on one of the slides it said that employee will be using the badge to swipe in and out. So our badges do not have a barcode. Does that mean we will have to get new badges?
No. So there was another part of that slide that said if you are a department that keys that has the key in your ID number to clock in and clock out, you will press record a punch, and then the keypad would appear, and then you would punch in your number like you do now. And that's mainly for aviation and HPD who do not have magnetic strips on their badge. They have to clock in with their badge number. All the rest of the departments, that keypad will be disabled. So the only way that keypad will become active is when you're doing the time off request. All you would have to do is just swipe your badge for the rest of the departments. But aviation and HPD employees, they would have to press record a punch, and that keypad would be then displayed. Then they would key in their ID number to record their punch. Does that answer your question?
Yes, sir, it does. Thanks.
All right, Ashley.
Dwayne, another question in the chat. I have used Quick Stamp on both my desktop and laptop. Will I still be able to use the same ones that are currently on there?
Yes. Once again, your assigned PC and laptop is your first mode to record a punch, whether you use the quick timestamp website or the full blown website of Chronos to record a punch. That process is still the same. And if that's how you're recording your punch, that's how you continue to record your punch.
Okay. Will this new clocks reduce missed punches? Current clocks have a high missed punch actions.
So I can't control the user. If the user is not punching in correctly, you're still going to have missed punches, right? But if the employee engaged that clock and their profile is set up correctly where their ID number matches their badge encoded number, then you should not have a missed punch, right? That's providing that the employee physically records a punch. Now, I've heard stories and it became apparent that the employee says that they swiped their badge, but never did because they was late. And then so now they relying on the manager to correct their time card and put the actual time that they're supposed to come in, right? But the action is near you guys. You know when your employees arrive, you know when your employees access the building, you know when your employees should be clocking at that clock, right? So I can't control whether or not the employees are actually punching or not.
Okay, thank you, Dwayne. Nikita?
I think he pretty much just answered that question here with the solid waste department. They used to being clocked in no later than 6:30. And I was just concerned about how they had that, where you could go in and admit your time. So, but I think he answered that where I think you cannot do anything to the clock except for like global request off, correct?
That's about it. You can only request time off or clock in and clock out. You can view your time card. You can attest and approve your time card. There's additional functions on there that she just went through in the job aid. But mainly, the main purpose of the clock is to record a punch. And if you don't have a computer or anything like that, you can also request time off, future time off requests.
Okay, thank you so much.
Mhm.
Dwayne, someone is asking that you clarify frontline employees are no longer allowed to use Kronos web-based site on their personal devices, just COH issue devices only?
Okay, so the web browser on personal phones or any phone has never been authorized. You are not supposed to use that web browser on your phone to clock in and clock out. Whether it's your phone or city issued phone or anything like that. Now, if you've been authorized to use the mobile app on your personal phone or your city phone, then that is authorized. But using that web browser has never been authorized, and it has been grounds for termination. And actually, some people has been terminated because that is considered stealing when you're not at where you're supposed to be when you're clocking in and clocking out. I hope that answered the question.
Thanks, Dwayne. At HEC, we swipe our badges like a credit card. Do we continue to do that, or will we need new badges with barcodes?
So you swipe your badge like a credit card. This is how you be swiping your badge like a credit card with the new clock. You don't need new badges. And it goes to the municipal employees over at the HEC Center, classified employees over at the HEC Center who clock in, people that work for HPD. I'm not gonna call them classified. HPD classified people don't clock in and clock out at all. But if you are an HPD employee working at the HEC Center, then you do not have a magnetic strip. You have to use the keypad, right? So if you're a municipal employee, that means you don't work for HPD or aviation at the HEC Center, then you would swipe that badge. If you work for HPD or aviation at the HEC Center, then you would key in your ID badge.
Dwayne, oh, sorry.
You're good. You're good. I was just going to reiterate that you're going to swipe your badge like a credit card with these new clocks too.
Okay. Someone asked, isn't the Kronos app being retired anyway?
No, I didn't hear that. Sandy, I've never heard that the Kronos app is being retired.
No, it is not.
Yeah. Now, when we upgrade to Dimensions, it'll be a different app for Dimensions, but the current Workforce Central app is still alive and kicking.
Okay. For clarification, will supervisors still be the ones?
Yes. So you went in and out, BB. For clarification, will supervisor managers still be the ones approving time cards, or will employees approve their time cards? Will the new clock also allow scheduled template changes? Currently, we create our employee schedules and change them when needed. All right. So supervisors always should approve their employees' time cards, even if your employees don't approve their time cards. Like I said earlier, the employees approving the time cards is just an additional set of eyes or an additional approval saying that the time card is correct. The employees are the action people that knows that this is what my time card is supposed to look like. Managers are the next step, right? So if you have employees approving the time card, that's just an additional set of eyes saying that the time card is accurate before it's even processed for pay. But yes, always managers are always supposed to approve their employees' time cards. Now the schedule function, that's still inside the web application. You can't change or no templates inside of the clock. You can just view your schedule inside of the clock. The employees can view their schedule, but you can't change it inside the clock, only in the application.
Okay, Jay Wood has a question.
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, thank you so much. Yeah, this is Sergeant Wood over in Traffic Enforcement. So we have approximately 40 civilian employees that are part of administrative, and also the bulk of them are part of our mobility response team. And they use the time clock here at 62 Reasoner that is accessible to all employees. It's on the first floor in the basement. And then on the notification email, it said that that time clock, I guess, was being removed from that location, and there was going to be a time clock put over in Fleet, which, you know, is, I don't understand why that would be, because the area that our time clock is accessible to all employees, and the one over at Fleet is not accessible to employees on the weekends. And our guys are, you know, 24/7 over here. So I just wanted to know if in fact it was going to be removed, and if it was scheduled to be removed, can we not get it removed because it's heavily used?
All right, so first question to you is, does every employee over there have access to a computer or laptop?
A laptop, no.
So let me rephrase the question. Does every civilian employee over there has a city assigned device, such as a
No.
laptop or computer? No?
No, they don't. They don't have no, they're civilians, sir. They don't have an assigned laptop or an assigned mobile phone. So that's why I'm asking, you know, because our time clock, if we're going to put one in Fleet, Fleet has access to our time clock over here, but if we take ours out and put it over in Fleet, we don't have access to Fleet because they're not there on the weekends.
Okay, so Fleet,
It'd make more sense to put it over here than our employees having to walk over there, because everybody has access to it.
so Fleet has their own clock, right? There's a clock at Fleet, and there's a clock in that basement, if that's what you're indicating.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what Fleet has or doesn't have, because I'm not
Yeah.
over there, sir. All I know is in our
Yeah.
basement here, right before you come in the elevator, as the employees come into
Mhm.
work and leave work in the evenings and at night, they use that time clock to punch in and out.
Okay, we'll have to look at that. And BB, can
Yeah.
you?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Dwayne, I'm sorry. I know that department and those people work out in the field. They would use a punch in and out clock. They would not, they don't have city issued devices or a computer to sit at.
Correct.
Okay, let's see where they stand at that clock. What's that address again?
Yeah, it's in the where the old communications was. It's actually
No. What's the address?
62 Reasoner.
62 Reason.
Yeah, and I can send you an email if you want to type
Yes.
your email address. I can send you a picture of where it is and everything, if that would be
Yeah.
okay.
Dwayne, that's the exact same location we've been talking to Richard and Clarity about, and the team. So there's already an email string about 62 Reasoner Building, and it's being reviewed by HPD leadership, and they're going to get back to me. So I don't know who's talking right now. Sorry, but Steve
I don't know.
August.
I
If you
was
reach
gonna
out to Steve August, you'll get more information.
Who is it? Steve August?
Steve August.
Yeah, I would like to be included on that
Sure.
email thread, since, you know, we have the bulk of the employees, well, pretty much all the employees that use that clock are in traffic enforcement. So,
Okay. What's your first name? And I'll just forward it right now.
yes, ma'am. It's james.wood at houstonpolice.org. Thank you
Okay.
so much.
I'm sending it.
Appreciate
You're
it.
very welcome.
Yes, ma'am.
Thanks, Denise.
Of course.
Okay. Dwayne, I think the questions in the chat are being addressed by Jessica. Someone said, please send over a copy of the presentation. The presentation will be posted on the ARA site.
I'm working on that one, man. It's still not. I'm
Okay, I think that's a backdrop. Okay. Any other questions? Let me see if I can mute.
For whatever reason, my hand raised is not working, BB.
Okay.
This is Nakia. I have a question. So would schedules be migrated over to the new system? Or do we have to go back in and enter each employee's schedule?
So we were supposed to be asking questions about the clocks, but to answer your question, we would have to create schedules in the new system.
Okay,
Just to answer your
Thank you.
question.
thank you. Mhm.
Davis, TJ, sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, good morning. This is TJ Davis, HAS. I have a question about the time clocks. I'm hearing about a lot of the time clocks being, old time clocks removed, new clocks being installed. And I know that HAS is gonna be handling their own, as well as some other department will be doing their own installation. The question that I have, since this is gonna be basically train the trainers, we're gonna be responsible for getting our employees up to par to use these new time clocks. Is there any literature tutorials that we can start getting our employees familiar with these time clocks now? Because in aviation, we have a lot of employees, we have a lot of language barriers. That's going to take a little time to get them to understand, especially when there's no hard equipment right here for them to visually see. Is there any tutorials, any literatures that we can start passing out to our employees to start getting them familiar with the clocks? So instead of clocking in on the old clock in the morning, coming back at the end of the shift and boom, here's a new time clock. How do I use the time clock? What I should do? And I have 15 people standing at the time clock looking at a dinosaur head.
Yes, TJ, yes. So on the ARA site, if you go to that site, the link is right here on the screen. There are job aids on there. There are 3 of them: how to record a punch, how to request time off, and the clock features. You can print that out and share that with your staff. In addition, this tutorial that we just did right here, the recording and this session, this PowerPoint, will be posted on that same site. But I will suggest that the first step is to get those job aids to your staff. They're in PDF format. You can email it to them. You can print it out for them. Those go over all the functions that Sandy just kind of walked through today.
Okay, thanks. I did see them. I just want to make sure that we have the green light to go ahead on and start sharing this with our employees, since a lot of stuff is saying is coming soon.
Absolutely, absolutely.
All right,
In addition to that, these same job aids will be posted by the clock when the new clock is installed. And so that's our process, is to post the same job aids right there by the clock, just in case your employees forgot theirs in their back pocket, it got torn or whatever. There'll be a posted job aid right there by the clock once the new clock is installed.
Okay. I don't see any additional questions in the chat that haven't been addressed. I may have missed some. If I did, please feel free to jump in. I think someone just raised their hand, so please go ahead.
Yes, ma'am. I have a question real quick. You guys keep saying that the training that will be posted on the ARS website. Is that the same thing as TMS?
It's the link that's right here on the screen, HoustonTX.gov/ARA/payroll.
And to answer your question, no, that's not the same as TMS. The ARA payroll website has a lot of information that has to do with time and attendance, as well as any payroll type forms. If you need a new W-2 form, all that information is on that website. So that's why we decided to put these job aids for your access, because most people already go to that website. Eventually, there'll probably be a TMS video tutorial loaded to TMS for individuals to go and review this same process.
Any other questions? I know some people, the hand raise doesn't work for you, so feel free to jump in and ask. Okay. All right. Any additions from Dwayne or Denise before we wrap up?
The only addition I have is make sure that you guys who's getting this knowledge, because these are 2 sessions, and I know we sent it out to over 3,000 people, and I've only seen 999 here today, where it's 99 plus, and so it's a total of 368 people today. Yesterday had like 600 something people. If you had friends who didn't direct them to the website so they can see the same recording and get this information, or just share the information. The more you talk about it, the more the information will be disseminated to everybody. That's all I have.
Thank you, Dwayne. Denise, anything from you?
No, I think overall, if you have any questions about where time clocks have been, whether being removed or whether being replaced, please talk to your department leadership. We had meetings with every department multiple times and they reviewed internally within their teams. So if you have any issues with time clocks, please raise within your department. I can give you names if you need exactly who was on the team, but definitely know that review was done, and that's how we got our list of final decisions. But thank you all very much for being here. I appreciate it. And back to you, BB.
Okay. Well, thank you all as well. Appreciate your time. We will post a recording of this session on that site, so you should be able to see that momentarily, as well as the PowerPoint and additional collateral for you to be able to use to help your staff. Please go ahead, download those things and start sharing that with your staff members. Clocks will be replaced and removed. That process has already started. So you start seeing those changes. So it is great that you get them kind of updated and make sure they know what's happening and what's coming beforehand. And if you have questions, you can also continue to use this chat to post that question if something comes to mind. We will post a FAQ document on the ARA site as well once we've compiled all the questions that came in. And of course, you have the ARA email and the phone number if you have additional questions in the future, or you need help with something relating to the clock. So thank you again for your time, and I hope you all have a good rest of your day. Bye-bye.
Bye.